Red Dead Redemption 2, upon release in late 2018, received critical acclaim from its story and gaming mechanics. Easily one of the best games released in that year, but there were quick and particularly strong claims of controversy. Originally due to gaming confidentiality, developers and producers related to the project could not exactly speak to news outlets or gaming sources about the efforts and devotion that they had put into the game. Upon completion, as we all saw with the game, their work was astonishing. But to get to that level of requirement required massive amounts of sacrifice and some would say abuse. Some of the workers did not want to be publicly identified, but anonymously gave testimony and accounts of their experiences with relation to the game. High-ranking officials connected to the development of Red Dead Redemption commented that at times members of the developmental team were working at least 100-hour work weeks multiple times during the year of 2018 on the game prior to its official release date. These added to claims of an industry-wide reform needed for smaller studios. Some of these said studios that closed during 2018 in part due to sudden employee layoffs, unreasonable deadlines to accomplish gaming work, and no gaming unions to help protect workers within the gaming industry. Montega, Visceral, Telltale Games, Boss Key Productions, Runic, Carbine, the Barlett Jones Supernatural Detective Agency, Gas Powered Games, also known as Wargaming Seattle, Capcom Vancouver, Gazillion Entertainment. These were some of the companies that collapsed from 2018 alone. Rockstar Games is a much larger company that's able to endure these sorts of problems, but it still doesn't mean that it isn't a problem for the company or the employees within. Upon news of these company closures, commentators remarked that hopefully these experiences will put attention onto workers overall in the gaming industry and help to give them more rights, representation, and protection. Rockstar defended how it develops games and the employees that work within their company. Allowing employees to speak about their experiences on social media were strategically beneficial for the company, as most workers said they had good experiences with Red Dead Redemption 2 and working for Rockstar Games as a company. Rockstar also released information claiming that on average, a week of gaming development at the company was anywhere between 41 and 43 hours. During busy periods of game development, the said hours per week increased from anywhere between 50 to 60 hours. Rockstar officials were quoted as, "No one, senior or junior, is ever forced to work hard." The company also had information that they pay overtime and give bonuses, and that extra hours are not mandatory. What's sad is that Rockstar has some of the best reputation in the industry when it comes to video game worker rights. And some have said that it's not exactly fair to mention that they've been treated unfairly when Redemption took at least several years to create and develop. There were claims of workers being pressured to do more overtime to get to certain developmental goals of a said project for it to be released on time. But these said workers were no longer employed by Rockstar, so these claims might not exactly be entirely accurate or fair. Even if Rockstar values its workers, other developers might not have those same intentions or ideas, publicly or privately. It's been said that the gaming industry mostly employs and attracts young people who are willing to put in extra time and effort if needed, or encouraged for games being developed, but also harsh on those that might need extended time off for certain circumstances or situations, mostly women that might become pregnant and start families. This was ironically mentioned on purpose or in passing within games with parents or lack of parents, as the God of War reboot and The Last of Us. The main focus of worker rights in the video game industry has once again been highlighted and focused on by Red Dead Redemption 2, As within America and Britain, there's actual claims of perhaps starting video game-based unions to represent workers. As would this actually happen? No one was sure at that particular time. Perhaps the more alarming aspect of the game were claims of violence towards women or aspects of it. The best or most infamous of these examples and videos from the game were instances of the game put on YouTube about players killing or assaulting the women's suffrage non-player character. It should be known that the game takes place in the year of 1899, when the first examples of women demanding equal rights to men within America date back to the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, which were the first real modern American demonstrations for women's rights, and the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which gave the women the right to vote in 1920. The game takes place at a critical point in American history with relation to the status of men and women, and voting being naturally one of those status rights. With the fact that the American Wild West was a dangerous time in history for the country, and the fact that most of the video game culture and attitudes in general are tilted towards men, it's not exactly surprising but most certainly shocking that players can beat, attack, and abuse these non-player characters in-game. The said character stands on a public street next to a sign and wearing a sash that promotes the vote, loudly shouting, "Let me vote," which plenty of women did historically at that time. One of the main dynamics of Red Dead Redemption was the ability to shoot, rob, talk to, or beat up almost any character that the player can come across during the game. It's this dynamic that a YouTuber using the name of Shirako uploaded a video of himself playing the game and beating the suffragette unconscious. The said video was uploaded on the 28th of October 2018 and within a very short amount of time gained more than 1.2 million views. Not stopping there, and perhaps emboldened by the amount of viewers that the video had gotten, he released other videos with the suffragette being fed to an alligator and another being lassoed by rope and left on rail tracks to get hit by a train. There were plenty of disturbing comments, and though it was a game, it arguably had real-world intentions behind it. Upon being asked for why the video went viral, as well as why he uploaded an assault on the non-player character, he commented that in-game while playing he found the suffrage supporter annoying and simply thought that it would be a harmless gamer video with a few comments and views. But upon claims that were some commentators who were deeply offended at the video, he distanced himself from that and mentioned that he couldn't really do much about them. He didn't want to censor other people's opinions, even if they went against what he personally thought was right and wrong. Other commentators mentioned that he was using that as an excuse to not necessarily take blame for any hate or discrimination that might have come out or emerged as a result of the video. Things like that might have been even more extreme within the game, as Rockstar specifically took out gaming mechanics that might have been enabled for players to kill children non-player characters within the game, as developers thought that was specifically dangerous and perhaps wanted to avoid any criticism at all. YouTube eventually took the video down, but some have wondered why such a video could bring out such feelings of anger or concern from gamers and people in general. Obvious correlations were that in 2018 there was a midterm election within the United States, and there is feminist sentiment, anti-feminist concerns, as well as changing demographics, unavoidable change, and divisions within the country that just manifested due in part to the game.